Facility management is a broad industry. Comprises soft facility, hard-skill facility, all-round facility management. What is your facility management service complete without a pest controller? Yes. So without the input of we rat killers is what you are facilitating. Because imagine you have a beautiful building like this that you are the manager, and you have this kind of conference and rat. After you have put electricity, put cable, that is even easy. You have a good system, and one rat go to hit your cable, and your system begin to do crack, crack, crack. After that instant, there was an instant they called me and rat ate up the Range Rover. The Range Rover, the owner of the Range Rover packed it for like 2-3 months and went overseas. And there's a way they cover, it's brand new. He covered it with this tarpaulin, believing that everything was good, and he went on, and he came back. Virtually all the cable inside the engine had been eaten up by rat when he came back. That is, you can't even trace where the cable, when rats eat things, you can't trace it. It was a mess for the car. It was a big mess. And it is part of facility management. Because that particular estate has a facility management company that manages it. And they have budget for pest control. But they usually, facility managers, you think, oh, I can do this thing myself. I carry pump, give it to one of my staff. Do. You understand? But you don't know the damage that this can cause to the client. That's the reason why we want to have this conversation. Thank you so very much for having me.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Standing on the existing protocol, I would like to first thank you for inviting me. That's Dr. MKO. I'm representing Dr. MKO. I've been practicing facility management over 10 years and more than, and I can say that in our own space, some way, somehow, we're all facility managers. So I would like to first define what facility management is, and I would like to use a framework which is also called PEST, a PEST framework for pest control. So facility management, as defined by International Facility Management Association, IFMA, that's a global body that regulates facility management practice, define facility management as a profession that integrates people, place, process with the purpose of improving the quality of life and productivity of core business. So in a simple summary, it's just a profession that is dedicated to improve people's life in the built environment. When you ask people what facility management, they'll tell you fix bulb. There's a difference between maintenance and management. But facility management comprises of ensuring safety, functionality, effectiveness of equipment and people in the built environment. So the purpose, again, is to ensure quality of life of people in the built environment. Like I said, I'm going to use a PEST framework for pest control. The first thing is prevention. Second word is elimination. The third word, acronym is sustainability. Then the last T is training. For facility managers, like I said, our aim, our goal is to ensure quality of life of the people in that built environment, to ensure again that what that environment, that building is built for, is fit for purpose. So we cannot overemphasize the importance of pest control in that built environment. And if you don't have a good pest control system, what are the impacts? The impact is on health and safety, which we have all discussed. If you have pests in your built environment, they can spread diseases, harm people that are there. So the goal or your purpose as a facility manager is defeated just by that poor pest control system. The second is protection of assets. Like I said, facility manager has 3 core pillars: people, the place, the process, integrated using technology. A lot of people talk about facility manager, say, it's the maintenance guy and stuff like that. So if the asset is not being protected, again, the goal has been defeated. Termite eats, like Prof have mentioned, how they would erode the equipment, like he mentioned, cars and stuff like that. So if you don't deal with pest itself, to actually destroy the property, then you lose the economic value of that asset. It will not be able to fulfill its life cycle. Thirdly, is compliance to regulation. We have, unfortunately for us in this space, we don't always have we have, but it's not being enforced. You don't have people that inspect building don't have certificates. Once you build things, there's no certificate to renew to show that that place is fit for purpose. But we have, like I said, there are laws guiding this. The problem with Nigeria is not laws, it's enforcement and compliance. The third again is your brand reputation. You are living in a place that is not fit for purpose, rat is flying and stuff like that. It affects your business as a facility manager, also affects your brand as a company. You don't want to employ, like Prof said, the first thing you want to address is the cleaning guy that is not doing his work. It's not even about the pest itself. So if you are not cleaning, you keep having pests there. So it affects your brand. Who wants to employ a cleaning company that doesn't clean very well? I'm sure none of us will want to do that. The other part I've mentioned regulation, I've mentioned protection of assets, I've mentioned health and safety. There's also the downside of economic value of, when you have pests all the time, you incur a lot of cost. In facility management, we have a scheduled maintenance. For example, in a building like this, based on the environment, there's a rule of thumb to say that you're supposed to fumigate every quarter. But if your environment is very, is prone to a place where you can have those pests around, you can take it to twice, every 2 months you fumigate. But a rule of thumb for facility managers is that every quarter you need to fumigate that environment, deal with rodents, right? So it's scheduled there. But if you have poor facility management, instead of doing 3, maybe within every month, and that has economic downside. Destruction of properties has economic downside. So as a facility manager, in fact, to be honest with you, I'm sure most of us in that space are not even aware that you guys have an association. And it's really a good awareness for me, because I also sit as director of membership of the local body of facility. I'm part of their ESCO. So I would convey this to them and see how we can work together as a team. Like I said, this is a very, very, it's important, because if you have rodents in your house, then you are not healthy. And when you are not healthy, you cannot function. So if you look at it again, there is a circular economy around it. It can affect productivity of people. It can even affect the economy. If a top guy that's supposed to be healthy is affected by pest or disease, you are losing human capacity. It can also affect the nation as a whole. The last thing I want to say is something they call sick building syndrome. This is a syndrome whereby people get sick regularly in a building as a result of health hazard and health issues. So if you don't have good pest control management, you have this syndrome. And I'm sure a lot of people don't know that there's what you call a sick building syndrome. It means that in a building, a lot of people fall regularly because that place is not fit for purpose, and you have various issues about pests. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. I know if you've given him 1 hour, it will be another keynote speaker. But I believe within that short conversation of 10 minutes or so, about 12 minutes, you must have picked some key points about the importance. So pest control is part of life. Because as human beings, as people who live in an environment, pests are natural. As I'm standing here, flies are flying. Right? Things as much. So God created them to be part of our companion in this journey of life. You understand? That is why we don't call them pest exterminations. Right? Because we don't do pest extermination. How many of you do pest extermination? Even though grammatically you may want to feel pompous and say, I'm an exterminator. You want to feel like, when they say, what do you do? I'm an exterminator. Oh, what are you exterminating, really? What are you exterminating? Because you are not even expected to exterminate. Right? You are expected to manage and control. That is why it's called pest control. Pest extermination. Because what pest is an unwanted organism present in the wrong environment. That means snake by itself enjoying its life in its natural habitat. But when a snake is found in your bedroom, it becomes pest. So it has to be removed. So you are not going to say, I want to exterminate all black mambas. right? So it is management. It is important that we understand that these insects we always have around us, and we must be conscious of the fact that as we live, we must periodically manage them the way it should be. Thank you so very much for that insight. Can you give him a round of applause once again?